The school committee has a meeting that night at 7. Well, you know, it's still hashing
If I
everything
come
out.
across it, Eileen,
We'll see.
it's not this.
Because Matt used to have all those post-its in there. Did you put all those post-its? Are they yours? Matt had the same thing. Post-its in the
It'll
Cushing's
melt
rules.
wash.
Council Pelletier, go.
He's here someplace.
He's in the mayor's office right now. He's coming in now.
I do?
I haven't seen Councilor O'Keefe though.
Don't have the
thank
good
you, I
ones
just
I
need
used
to
to
clean
have.
my glasses.
Ready?
Texting her in a minute.
A regular meeting of the City Council held in the council chamber on Thursday, December 8th, 2011 at 7 p.m. for the purpose of transacting any and all business. Notice of this meeting was posted on December 2nd, 2011 at 9:51 a.m. This meeting is being taped and is live on SATV. Absent currently is Councilor O'Keefe. Council President Ryan is presiding. Councilor Ronan moves to dispense with the reading of the record of the previous meeting. All those in favor? Opposed? Request that everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. We'll join Councilor Pelletier.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I just want a point of personal privilege for a moment of silence for one of our former councilors, James Hosman. He passed away this past week. He was the Ward 4 councilor, I want to say, in the early 70s, 73. I believe it was one term, and just one a moment of silence. Thank you. Please stand. Thank you. Councilor Fury?
Council, come on.
Okay.
No. Do yours
Please,
first.
please.
Please do yours first.
Councilor Fury?
If I may, thank you. On point of personal privilege, if I may. On November 22nd, I had successful prostate surgery by robotics by Dr. Tariq at St. Elizabeth's Hospital. And Dr. Tariq told me there will be no need for any follow-up radiation surgery, radiation. This was my first day back to drive my own car to this very meeting tonight. So I wish to thank so many for their thoughts and prayers and masses. I would like to thank especially my sister Mary for putting up with me for the last 2 weeks throughout this ordeal. It's nice to be back in circulation, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Good to have you back. Councilor Sosnowski?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. At this point, I would ask that we could move to a different part of the meeting, to the motions, orders, and resolutions, please.
Councilor Sosnowski wants to move from the regular agenda to motions, orders, and resolutions. Any objection? None? Councilor Sosnowski?
Thank you. Some time ago, I don't even remember how many years ago, I think it was Councilor O'Keefe that appointed me, or made the suggestion to the then sitting council president, I don't know who it was, but they appointed me to the liaison to the Salem Veterans Council, because I believe Councilor O'Keefe and myself were the only veterans on the council. That being said, I've had the distinct pleasure of serving with Jean Guy Martineau for quite a few years now, for at least 8 years, all right? And through this time, I've learned a lot of things through him, through the Veterans Council. You see a lot of them in the background, and some behind me as well, all right? And it's toward that end, because quite honestly, when you add up all the years Jean Guy has worked here, he has worked 20 years as the veterans agent. He's worked 14 years as a city councilor. The number of years he put in country and in the service, I mean, the amount of years that he put to country, state, and city is amazing. So with that, it's with this distinct honor that I would like to read this resolution. In the City of Salem, City Council, December 8, 2011, a resolution, whereas Jean Guy Martineau, a native son of Salem, first serving our nation during the Vietnam conflict, then honorably discharged and returning home in 1972. He then was transferred to the Naval Reserves until 1974. Whereas he received the National Defense Service Medal, Vietnam Service Medal, and the Vietnam Campaign Medal, and whereas Jean Guy Martineau made the decision to serve this community and did so for several decades, and whereas he was first elected to the City Council in 1976 and served for 7 terms, completing his last term in 1989. During that time, he also served as council president in 1979, and whereas he rose to the challenge to serve as the Veterans Agent for the City of Salem in 1992, a fitting position as a veteran. He assisted the veterans of this community as their advocate, unselfishly and humbly for 20 years, and whereas Jean Guy Martineau performed his duties with honor and dignity, his obvious loyalty and dedication signifies his personal qualities which made him a valuable asset to the city, and whereas Jean Guy Martineau is now entering into retirement from his position as Veterans Agent for the City of Salem, he will be greatly missed. And now, therefore, be it resolved that this resolution, accompanied by a seal of the city, be presented to Jean Guy Martineau as a token of our admiration for his many years of dedication. And on behalf of the citizens of Salem, we extend best wishes for a healthy and happy retirement for many years to come. And it's signed by all of the councilors except for Mr. O'Keefe, who is absent this evening. And he'll be here later. Hopefully we can get him to sign it later. And with that, I'd like to make the presentation, Mr. President. Jean Guy? Absolutely great honor. I present this resolution to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, can I move to suspend the rules to allow Jean Guy to...
We have to move for adoption first, the resolution.
Thank you. I move for adoption of the resolution, Mr. President.
Councilor Sosnowski moves for adoption. All those in favor? Opposed?
I motion,
So moved.
move suspension of the rules to allow Jean Guy to address the council.
Okay, motion to suspend the rules to allow Jean Guy to speak. Any objection? Thank you.
I've been silenced in this hall before. Thank God not tonight. I'm going to be very brief only because you have a long agenda tonight. And I know all the years, the 12 years I've served here on the city council, I know all the business you have, and it's a long night. The greatest honor I had, of course, was my mother and father and my brothers and sisters being a member of a wonderful family in the city of Salem. Always been involved in the community and in Parish St. Joseph. More importantly for me was serving my country and serving in Vietnam for 2 years, and coming back and having the honor of being elected city council by the city of Salem, and being elected president by my fellow councilors. I'll always cherish the memories in this hall for the years that I served here, and I know some of the past councilors will tell you that they didn't cherish some of those moments along with me, but I tried to serve with distinction, but I was always outspoken, and I carried that when Mayor Neil J. Harrington appointed me Veterans Agent for the City of Salem in 1991. I'll always appreciate Neil Harrington for doing that, and that is one of the greatest honors I've had, was to serve the veterans of the City of Salem for 21 years. You know, when they say the best time to go is know when you gotta go. Well, it's time for me to go. I can no longer serve the veterans and the community with the strength, the fervor, and the passion that I've served in the past. I want to thank all those who've supported me. More importantly, this city council and many of your members before you have supported me in my efforts and my staff to help the veterans of Salem. Never once did I come here in those 21 years and I was denied a request for funds for the veterans of this city. I want to thank all the previous mayors I have served under, and particularly Mayor Driscoll, because in all the years I served the city veterans agent
in his department, had a transportation department with old, run-mill, recycled police cruisers. Mayor Driscoll was the first mayor to give us a brand-new Crown Vic to service the needs of the transportation department for the city of Salem. And I want to thank her for that, because she always did go, as you people, above and beyond the call of duty for the veterans of this city. I want to thank, finally, my secretary, Barbara Rochon. What she put up with, you will never know. I want to thank Fred for allowing him to serve in my department for all those years. He and his family made sacrifices to allow Barbara to serve in the department. It's an honor to be here for you here tonight and receive this citation. I could talk for another half hour and thank everyone over and over again. I am humbled by this award, by this recognition, and I just want you to know I will do everything to help whoever the mayor appoints to be my successor. I will not leave the veterans in the loop. With all humility, I will try to help in any way or manner that I am requested to help. It's going to be a difficult transition, and I will be there for the veterans. So again, with all humility, thank you for this citation. I will cherish it for the rest of my life. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. President, I move that we return to the normal portion of the meeting at this point.
Well, I think Councilor Pelletier, did you want to say something?
I just want a moment of personal privilege. John Gee and I, we spell our names alike. We also have some family members that are married. My Aunt Lucille is married to Jean Gee's older brother. And my dad used to say, those Martinos, they're awful loud. But my dad was too. But thanks, Jean Gee. We as a city of whole, we appreciate everything you've done.
Thank you. Councilor Fieri.
I mean, Councilor Lovely's former boss, the great state representative Mike Wayne would always say, every day should be Veterans Day, to respect and recognize the role and responsibility of being a veteran. And when you see Gene Guy, you look into Gene Guy's eyes, you see veteran. You see Salem. You see the United States of America. And to have his service in the public service and to have his service as a veteran, we could not say no in any way as a city council to Gene Guy. No way. Because of his love and dedication to country, Salem, his family, the state of Massachusetts. So thank you very much, Gene Guy. We're going to miss you dearly. Thank you.
Any other comments? Councilor Sosnowski.
Thank you, Mr. President. At this point, I'd ask it, excuse me, sorry about that. I'd ask that we return to the normal portion of the meeting.
Okay, Councilor Sosnowski. Let's go back to the regular part of the meeting, which is public testimony. We had one person that wanted to speak on the tax rate, but since we're not going to be doing the tax rate today, they decided to leave, so we have no one. So we can move on to that. Next is public hearing, hearings.
We have a public hearing on the petition from Planet Fitness, 29 Traders Way, for extended hours of operation. New hours to be Sunday through Saturday, 12:01 a.m. to 12 a.m., 24 hours, 7 days a week.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak in favor of the petition? Please step to the microphone and state your name and address.
Yes, sir. Mr. President, councilors, good afternoon. My name is Peter Tamposi. I'm counsel for Planet Fitness. I speak here in support of the petition. We have 215 Planet Fitness clubs open 24/7 across the nation. It's a little ironic that one of our biggest constituents is actually veterans and servicemen. What we're asking to do, councilors, is to keep the club open for 24 hours to help better serve the community. We find that when we have a 24/7 club, the people who end up coming late at night are the folks who service the community. It's the policemen, it's the firemen, it's the medical workers, the ambulance crews, the folks who can't get there during normal working hours because they're servicing us. So I want to draw a distinction between what we do in our 24/7 operation, what some other sort of restaurants or other businesses do when they're open 24/7. Sometimes we find that they can draw an adverse sort of element in the community in the late hours, and that's sort of completely the opposite of what we find in our Planet Fitnesses. I also want to advise the board about what kind of neighbor we're going to be. First of all, the club's going to be staffed 24/7. The lights will be on. It will be well maintained. I should note that during the recent storm that we had, as well as during the Hurricane Irene, we opened our clubs 24/7 for showers and bathing to all the public, so not just to the members. And we did that with all our clubs. And I live in Nashua. We have a new Planet Fitness, and it was a great boon to me and my neighbors to be able. We had lost power for 5 days. It was a great boon for us to be able to go down and take a shower and clean up. And I wasn't even a member of the club at the time. And I should note that it practically saved my marriage. Because we could all go down as a family, and it's a great family organization, Planet Fitness. We, I think you've all seen the ad. We lift things up and put them down. Oh, yeah. Right? We really don't appeal to the lunkheads. We don't have power lifters coming. Those people get kicked out. They're not part of the clubs. It's a really we focus on families. As I said, we focus on the police, the firefighters, the servicemen. And it's we find universally well received by the communities that allow us to have 24/7. We're planning on opening the club in January. I invite you all down to take a look at the club and to join. It's very cost effective, and it's a great community.
Just for the record, I think I missed it. What was your name?
Sorry, my name is Peter Tamposi, sir, and my address is 1 Northfield Drive, Nashua, New Hampshire.
Nashua, New Hampshire. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Is there anyone else in the audience that'd like to speak in favor? All right. Councilor Pelletier?
I should note.
Questions?
Yes, sir.
Yep. Councilor Pelletier?
Thank you. Which exactly is this building located in?
I'm sorry, where is it located?
The building?
I would refer to my colleague Irene Elizabeth Cunningham, who is the regional manager. She's been there all day. Elizabeth?
Yes, I have. Hi, how are you? It's 29 Traders Way. It's right next to the Market Basket, or the Shaw's. It's in the Shaw's Plaza. Traders Way.
The old Bally's?
Traders Way.
It's where
Bill-
Bally's used to
Is it
Bally's.
next to
Yes,
the
it's right where
Petco?
Bally's used to be.
I'm sorry?
It's right where Bally's used to be.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Councilor Prevey?
Thank you, Mr. President, through you. Are there any concerns about security? And the reason I'm asking is I used to belong to that when it was Bally's at the time.
Yeah.
And I remember it was actually early in the morning. I left the gym probably about 6:30 in the morning, and then heard later on in the day the Shaw's that's at the end was robbed, actually. Guy had come up in a car. He'd waited for the employees to come in, and he just held them at gunpoint and brought them into the store. So I'm wondering, are there any security precautions that you take in the different communities that you service that have 24 hours?
That's a great question. First of all, we've been in touch with the police to advise them that we're going to be here seeking an application for 24/7 operation. But the way we handle security in our clubs is we don't have cash. Everybody pays by what we call electronic fund transfer. So almost nobody pays with cash or credit cards. So our stores, our clubs don't carry any cash, and all of our members know that. So we're almost never robbed. There's sort of nothing there to take. Well, I'm not aware of any of a club ever being robbed. I didn't want to say without doubt because I haven't researched that, but we were just really, the way we set the clubs up, we're not a target.
Okay. Any further questions?
As I said, also, we'll be somebody there 24/7. It will be well lit. The parking lot will be well maintained.
Councilor Pelletier?
What's the cost for a yearly membership?
You want me to take over
Go
there?
ahead, please.
Right now, it's just $1 to sign up, and then it's $10 a month, and then there's a $10 annual fee. Or you can get a different membership with more benefits. That's nothing to sign up, and it's $19.99 a month with a $19.99 annual fee.
And that allows you to go to any Planet Fitness,
Wonderful.
anywhere in the land.
That's
Sounds
right.
great.
And we have almost 500. It's
You have any down Staten Island, New York?
oh, yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Good deal.
So you join here, would you go home to visit or
Yeah.
whatever? You can
And
work
the
out there.
pre-sale is 9 to 7.
Thank you very much.
I should say we've had great reception in the community. That people are buying memberships like crazy, and people are really excited. Like I said, we're opening January 1, and we've got a lot of excitement in the community.
As a procedure for the 24-hour, does that need a public hearing? No.
This is the public
This is a
hearing.
public hearing.
Yeah.
We're having one right now.
This is a
We're having
pub,
one right now,
Yeah.
okay. I know we're having a hearing, but I didn't know it was public. Nobody spoke. Nobody come up and spoke. All right, well, as a Ward 3 counselor,
well, I just want to see if there's anyone in the chamber
I'll let you do that.
that's in opposition of 24 hours for Planet Fitness. You want to come to the microphone, name and address?
I'm William Legault, 2 Orange Street here in Salem. Most of you guys all know me. I'm not necessarily speaking in opposition. I have no problem with Planet Fitness or a 24-hour operation. I would have a couple of concerns about them being open 24 hours up there, and I'll get to that in a minute. What I would ask is, I remember when that building first opened as a fitness facility, I was working up at the old Atlantic Extrusions on Swampscott Road. We may remember that. And it was a Planet Fitness when it originally opened. And I signed up for that dollar sign-up fee and $10 a month, if I remember correctly. I don't remember exactly what it was, and I went in there one day, and it was no longer a Planet Fitness. It was a Bally's. So, are we open? You're opening. If you okay this for 24 hours for Planet Fitness, will that 24-hour operation carry over? If it's a big if, and when, hopefully it's a small when, it switches over to another fitness facility, because I do believe that, as you folks know, I do have a little bit of a background in the fitness industry. It's not unusual for these large chains to change over like that. Bally's, I think, has come and gone a couple of times in Salem. This is at least the second time we've had a Planet Fitness here. I would also ask, there may not be any money there in that facility at night, but the staff and the money in the register will not be the target of anybody that comes up there at 2 in the morning to cause trouble. It's going to be the membership. The locker room in particular, I'm assuming you're going to have a locker room. Those are the people that are going to be targeted. There needs to be security in the parking lot, and there does need to be actual security, not just floor staff, somehow in that locker room, especially if people are using lockers or leaving bags laying around. So I'm not saying don't do this. I'm just saying there are other questions that need to be asked here. Will this carry over if they switch ownership to another organization? And will there be some sort of security beyond a 17-year-old young lady and a couple of 22-year-old personal trainers on the floor if some of these guys come in and they're trying to steal out of the locker room or harassing the customers in the parking lot? Thank you.
Thank you. I believe that when it transfers over, the new owners would have to come before the council again. I just want to verify with the city clerk, would that, if it changes ownership, they'll have to come for the 24 hours again. They couldn't just transfer it over. And then, I don't know if you want to address.
I think that's right. Thank you for your comments, sir. I'll let my learned colleague here address.
To address the Planet Fitness that was there before, that actually wasn't us. It was before we actually trademarked the name. So it was actually a different company altogether. So that's to address that. Also, what was the other one?
The security.
The security at night?
Yeah.
Well, the lockers aren't overnight lockers. Nobody can leave anything overnight. So the only things that would be in the locker room are just things that people working out there currently would have in the lockers. So that makes it less valuable.
And I think you can't get to the lockers without checking in at the front desk first. So somebody can't just sort of walk off the street
Right.
and walk into the lockers. Currently, Mr. President, we don't have a plan to have for instance, a uniformed officer there. I suppose if circumstances warrant that later on, it's certainly within the realm of possibility. But just to address the first point about the club changing over of ownership, that's a problem in the fitness industry, but that's not a problem that we have. Planet Fitness is a national franchise company. Right now we have 500 Planet Fitnesses, which almost never close because they tend to be very profitable because of the low cost and sort of the family-friendly nature of the clubs. We've been on an acquisition kick where we bought up a number of other clubs, like Bally's, for instance, many of which sort of had run into disrepair, and we take them over and we build them up and turn them into good, well-run, profitable locations. So I personally don't have any concern about the longevity of this club. I expect we added 100 clubs this year. We're going to add another 100, 150, 200 clubs next year. So the company's really on a tremendous growth phase. And many of you might know, it's a New England-run company. It's run out of Newington, New Hampshire, small privately held company, but a tremendous success story. And I'm proud to work there, and I'm glad it's part of our New England community.
Any other questions from the council? Okay, Councilor Pelletier.
Well, Mr. Gall brought up some fairly decent concerns. And I'll ask the gentleman, is 24 hours, is that part of your business plan? Is that going to affect you if we put a 6-month reasonable period to get you going? And then this body takes another look at, see how the operation's going? Police calls, fire calls, anything like that?
Well,
Because this council gives permits and we also take them away.
I understand that, and that's a good point. The way it might affect our business is people coming in have said to my colleague over and over again, we're so glad you're going to be open 24/7. We're really excited about that. If the councilors have concerns, what I may suggest is that you grant us a conditional approval for 24/7 operation, and I'll come back to you in 6 months and report to you how things have gone. In the meantime, the community will have had a chance to see how we operate, and if there are any negative concerns, they will have come to light by then. But we can report to you, issues that have been raised here tonight, for instance, security, the cleanliness, all that stuff. We'd be happy to come back, but I'd ask that you grant us at least a conditional 24/7 permit so that we sort of can live up to the promises we've been making to our members.
I would agree to that, Mr. President.
Okay.
Only because there'll be a new Ward 3 council sitting in my seat. He lives closer to that
Perfect.
location than you know.
Well, tell them to come down and join, please.
I'm not telling him anything.
Okay. Any
This is by fire.
further comments? Council Pelletier, do you want to move the hearing closed?
So, condition 6 months, they come back and talk to the council?
Yeah, we can do that, but
Move the
do you want to close the hearing first?
Got to close the hearing, John.
I'll close the public hearing.
Okay.
I'm not
Council
on that
Pelletier
page.
moves that we close the public hearing. All those in favor? Those opposed? So moved. Council
Motion-
Pelletier?
Yeah, motion to allow the 24/7 operation for 6 months and to come back to this council after 6 months and let you guys figure it out. No. After 6 months, the gentleman comes back and we talk, we get the police logs or whatever and see what you have to do,
Okay.
Be up to you.
So Council Pelletier moves that the petition be granted, but with the condition that 6 months, you come back, report, we'll see how it's been going, and then determine whether we'll keep it going.
Are you open right now?
Yes.
We're in pre-sale.
Well,
We're in pre-sale.
we're in pre-sale, so we're opening for business January 1, but we're in pre-sale right now, so
Okay, so from January 1st, 6 months from January 1st.
that makes sense.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All those in favor? Any opposed? So moved.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Council. Thank you.
Lift this up. Put it down. Additional hearings.
We have a public hearing on the issue of allocating the local property tax levy among the 4 property classes for the fiscal year of 2012 and the residential, open space, small commercial, and exemption options.
Okay, Rich, you want to come to the mic, explain, we're going to, Councilor McCarthy, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to suspend the rules to allow Mr. Viscay, the Finance Director, to address the council pertaining to this hearing.
Okay, well, should we open up the public hearing and then ask if
If
anyone?
you want to do that. I move to open the public hearing
Okay,
and then waive the rules to allow Mr. Viscay to address us.
okay, any objection? None being, Mr. Viscay?
Okay, thank you. Sorry to report that we had intended to give you the presentation on the classification hearing and all that which comes with setting the tax rate. Unfortunately, we ran out of hours and we did not have an executed agreement from Dominion Power Plant that talked of the tax agreement, which led to another problem in that there is a hold harmless agreement that was passed by the legislator, and since that's new to the city and to the Department of Energy Resources, we didn't have the document from the Dominion to forward along to them so that we can tighten up the language with regard to the revenues that we would need to supplement that and balance the tax rate. So we're well on our way to pulling that together. However, we just ran out of time, and I didn't think it was prudent to come in here and talk of all of the implications of the tax rate setting without those documents finalized. And I believe we're shooting to have this meeting next Thursday to set the tax rate and vote on the residential tax rate split. And happy to try to answer any questions with regard to that, but unfortunately, that's the case at this point.
Okay. Do any councilors have any questions at this moment? We're going to try to continue it till next Thursday, I want to say. The
Yeah.
15th, I believe it. I won't be here. Thursday, the 15th. Councilor McCarthy?
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you to Mr. Viskey. Rich, I know we talked about this earlier, but are we going to have the agreement in place by next Thursday so that the DOR will sign off on this so we can actually have this discussion?
That's the intentions, yes. I believe that to be true, but we're just about there today, but we just ran out of time.
Thank you.
Okay, so do we need a motion, or we just continue the public hearing until next Thursday? Do you want to speak?
No, I was just thinking if there are people here, they certainly can speak.
Yeah, well, if anyone wants to speak now, they can come to the mic, or they can wait till next Thursday, and... Nope. We'll say, next Thursday, the 15th, 6:30. Council McCarthy?
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that we continue the hearing on the
Thursday, the 15th.
tax classification till next Thursday at 6:30, which would be December 15th.
Yes, okay. On Councilor McCarthy's motion, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Appointments and reappointments.
We have the mayor's appointment and reappointment of the following to serve as constables with the following terms of expiration: Giovanni Louise Frey, Elvin Rodriguez, and Johanna Rodriguez.
Council Lovely.
Move they be received and placed on file.
Council Lovely moves they be received and placed on file. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Communications from the mayor.
We have an appropriation of $1 million from fund balance reserved for appropriation free cash to reduce the gross amount to be raised by taxation when fiscal year 2012 tax rate is set.
Council McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. As a point of order, do we want to take these up now, or do we want to wait until the meeting next Thursday? I'll leave it up to the will of the body. I'm not sure which, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 more, under the communication, there's 6 more issues that revolve with, that are related to the setting of the tax rate due to the year-end transfer of funds from the Witch House Golf Course, Harbor Master, Receipts Reserve, Golf Course, Sale of Vaults. I mean, we could take them up now, or we can just wait until next Thursday. I would leave that up to the body.
Council Creevy.
Thank you, Mr. President. Maybe as a suggestion to the chairman, that we wait, since the actual hearing itself was scheduled first, and then we were going to roll into these things. So I think, as opposed to making them disjointed at this point, I think it'd make more sense if we had the hearing and then took up these questions. And that's just my standpoint.
Council McCarthy.
I would agree with that. That was the way I was leaning on this, but I wasn't sure what the will was. Obviously, we just all found out about this information very short time ago, so I would, as we take them up, I'll just move that we continue into the meeting on the 15th. So I would move that the first communication from the mayor, the appropriation of the $1 million from fund balance reserves to free cash, be held until the meeting on the 15th.
Okay, on Council McCarthy's motion, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further communications from the mayor? Do we have to go through each one and do each one
An
separately?
appropriation of $997,042 from the following receipts reserves for appropriation accounts to reduce the gross amount to be raised by taxation when fiscal year 2012 tax rate is set. Receipts reserved from Witch House, receipts reserved from Golf Course, and receipts reserved from Harbor Master.
Council McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I further move that these matters be referred to our meeting next Thursday.
All those in favor? Opposed? Further communications from the mayor?
An appropriation of $31,725 from receipts reserved sale of vaults account to public services equipment account.
Council McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I further move that this matter be referred to our next Thursday's meeting.
Why?
No,
Why?
Oh, you want to take that one up?
yeah,
Okay.
it has nothing to do with the tax rate.
I wasn't sure if it had direct, okay, that's fine. I move for approval.
Okay.
Suspension.
I
Suspension of the
move for suspension of the rules.
Council McCarthy moves for suspension of the rules. No objection. Council McCarthy.
I further move for approval.
Council McCarthy moves for approval. Under discussion.
Briefly, Mr. President, this is just a transfer that we typically see from receipts reserved from the sale of lots to the public services account in order to offset those expenditures.
Any further discussion?
None?
All those in favor? Opposed? Further communications from the mayor?
We have an appropriation of $25,000 from receipts reserved golf course account to golf course irrigation account.
Council McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Council McCarthy moves for suspension of the rules. Any objection? None being, Council McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also move for adoption.
Council McCarthy moves for adoption. Under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. Included in here is a letter from the Park and Rec. They're looking to approve the money for a new irrigation system that will allow them to have handheld radio controls and better maintain, and efficiently manage the resources, and I'm assuming that will allow them to save a whole bunch on water, even though we don't charge ourselves for it, but it's nice to conserve water. So I think with the new, with the retirement of the past groundskeeper and the new groundskeeper in place, I think he's identified this need, and I would, I think moving forward, in order to keep the golf course up and running, get them all ready for next year, I would move to approve.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further communications from the mayor?
We have an appropriation of $9,060.07 from receipts reserved sale of vaults account to the public services equipment account.
Council McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to suspend the rules.
Council McCarthy moves suspension of the rules. No objection. Council McCarthy.
Thank you. I also move for adoption.
Council McCarthy moves for adoption. Under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. As you can see from the letter from the mayor that we all have in front of us, this transfer is necessary to cover the cost of the first payment of a trackless, and the trackless, I believe, is the equipment that's used to actually lower, I'm not too familiar with it, what it is, but I believe it's what's used to lower the vault into the ground. So they've identified that need, and it's just a housekeeping thing. They keep the money in that account, and then as they need expenditures, they ask us to be allowed to expend the needs that they have, so I would recommend approval.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further communications from the mayor?
We have an order that the mayor and city council accept the provisions of Section 4, Chapter 73 of the Acts of 1986 for fiscal year 2012, and for additional tax exemptions to be granted to widows, elderly, veterans, and blind property owners.
Council McCarthy.
I move that this matter be referred to next Thursday's meeting, so we can take that all up under the same.
Okay. Council
Tax
McCarthy moves that this order be moved to next Thursday's meeting with the tax classification. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further communications from the mayor?
We have an order to accept a donation in the amount of $6,200 from the Kernwood Country Club for the police department donation fund.
Council McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for adoption.
Council McCarthy moves for adoption. Under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to thank the Kernwood Country Club for once again donating, actually there's a nice photocopy of the check, to this fund. It's the Kernwood Country Club traditionally has always come up and donated to various events and projects during the year, and I want to thank them for their donation to the police donation fund.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further communications from the mayor.
We have an order to accept Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53E and a half, to establish a revolving account for Salem High School Automotive.
Council McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll move that this one gets referred to the A&F committee for next year. I mean, I know traditionally we have created revolving accounts for a variety of different departments in the city, and this is a new one that's first come up, and I know that there might be a few questions. I think it's pretty typical as to where we set up a revolving account, but I think that the A&F committee next year will want to look at this first, and then just make sure it's, ask Mr. Biscay, the finance director, a couple of questions to make sure it's the way that structurally we have an understanding before we take a vote on it right away. I think it would be, by looking at it briefly earlier, it would be a good idea, but I just want to make sure that we understand all the kinks in it before we adopt it. So I would move that this matter be referred to A&F, and we'll take it up next year, whoever that may be.
All right, any, yes? All right, yeah, we'll suspend Rule 31B.
Yes.
I'd also make a motion to suspend Rule 31B so that this matter that isn't currently in committee can be carried over to next year.
We have to do two motions. Motion to, okay. There's a motion by Council McCarthy to move this order to Administration and Finance and suspend Rule 31B so we can carry it over to the next calendar year. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Communications from the mayor received after the deadline of Tuesday noon.
An appropriation of $20,000 from the fund balance reserved for appropriation free cash account to the mayor expenses account for the demolition of a house at 3840 Palmer Street that has been declared unsafe.
Council McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move suspension of the rules to receive the late file.
Council McCarthy moves suspension of the rules to receive the late file. Any objection? None being. Council McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also would like to move that this matter be taken up at our next Thursday's meeting. Since we're going to have it on the tax classification, since it came in as a late file, only because I'd like to try to deal with this. I've had a couple discussions with Tom St. Pierre, the building commissioner. The building at this address is in disrepair. It's his opinion that it needs to come down. There's been various discussions on it. It's been boarded up. They recently got broken back into. They had to send the police back in to reboard it. It's got a litany of lists with regard to building code violations and health violations, and in the building commissioner's opinion, it needs to come down. It's in my ward. We've had discussions about it, and it's his feeling that it would be best that if this building did come down, so as it did come in as a late file, if we could bring it up at next Thursday's meeting and take it up and try to vote it out then. I think that the building commissioner has identified it, and it would affect the tax classification, because what they're doing is they're looking for the $20,000 to come out of a free cash appropriation, so that would factor into the whole scheme of the free cash. So.
Well, I just want to say, since we received after the deadline, we have to refer it to the Committee, Administration and Finance, so you're going to have to hold a A&F meeting, and then we can bring it into that.
And what time would our meeting be? 6:30 next week?
6:30, so you're going to, this has to go to A&F first, and then you can refer it out there to that meeting. I don't know, what's the,
I guess what we could do is we could schedule an A&F meeting prior to the meeting on next Thursday, so we can have typically at 6 o'clock, we can schedule an A&F meeting at 6. I'll invite Tom St. Pierre to come over and talk about it, and then we can refer it out at the meeting at 6:30, if that is acceptable.
I think we can do that.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Councilor Creevy.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a question to the Ward 1 Councilor. Do we know how much the property is assessed at? Because I know there was reference here in the mayor's letter about placing a lien on the property so we could recoup the money. So I'm not sure if that's something you looked into yet.
If I may, Mr. President?
Yeah.
Thank you. I don't know the specific value of what it's assessed at, but as in my discussions with the building commissioner, he says it's a classic subprime mortgage situation. the lender is, after the violations were brought to the owner's attention, it just became to the point where he couldn't afford to fix it in order to keep it. So he's in discussions, the owner's in discuss, my understanding, the owner's in discussions with the bank. He's about to let it go back to the bank. All that being said, the building it was ordered vacated because of the violations. There was one of the tenants actually ended up in a hotel for a while, and there was a whole, process. I'm not sure of the valuation. I'll make sure that that the building commissioner brings that to next Thursday's meeting, and I'll also ask, because Deb Jackson will be here too, I'll find out what the assessed value is and what in any back taxes that are owed on the property. Because I know that the intention is to put a lien on the property so that we can try to recoup our share of the money. But that would all depend on eventually what the building is sold for, so, in this case, it'd be the lot, so. I will make sure that information is at the meeting on Thursday.
Okay. All right, so you want to move to, held under the rules, refer to the Committee of Administration and Finance, and you'll have a meeting next week, and then bring it out at that Thursday meeting. All those in favor? Opposed? Moved. Mayor's informational page, none. Motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor McCarthy. We're gonna.
Thank you, Mr. President. The following motion that was to determine the percentage for the residential factor, I move that this matter be referred to next Thursday's meeting.
Councilor McCarthy moves that this motion be referred to next Thursday's meeting, the 15th at 6:30. All those in favor? Opposed? Further motions, orders, and resolutions? Councilor McCarthy, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. President. I further move that the open space exemption be referred to next Thursday's meeting as well.
Okay. Since all these have to do with the tax rate, Councilor McCarthy moves that the open space exemption be moved to next Thursday's meeting, the 15th. All those in favor? Opposed? Further motions, orders, and resolutions? Councilor McCarthy?
Thank you, Mr. President. I further move that the residential exemption be moved to next Thursday's meeting.
Okay. Councilor McCarthy moves that the residential exemption be moved to next Thursday, December 15th. All those in favor? Opposed? Further motions, orders, and resolutions? Councilor McCarthy?
Thank you, Mr. President. I also move that the small commercial exemption be moved to next Thursday's meeting on the 15th as well.
Councilor McCarthy moves that small commercial exemption be moved to next Thursday's meeting, December 15th. All those in favor? Opposed? Moved. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. We already did Councilor Sosnowski. I have an order. Councilor.
Yes, Mr. President. City of Salem and the City
Ronan?
Council to
Well, we have to go through the list, and then we can do.
Oh.
I have an order, so I need someone to take the.
Councilor Ryan?
Thank you, Madam President. City Council, December 8th, 2011, ordered that the City Council and School Committee accept nominations on the vacancy of a school committee member due to the resignation of Kevin R. Carr, Jr., I believe, as a member, as of December 31st, 2011, who was elected as Councilor at Large on the City Council. These nominations must be filed in the office of the City Clerk by Thursday, December 15th, 2011, and that a joint convention of the City Council and the School Committee be held in the City Council chambers on Tuesday, January 3rd, 2012 at 6:30 p.m. for the purpose of electing a school committee member to fill the vacancy.
Under discussion?
Under discussion, this is the rough process of trying to fill the position due to Kevin Carr coming onto the council and 2 more years left on his school committee term. So we will put out a call for registered voters of Salem who want to join, who want to serve as this term out 2 more years, and then the school committee and the city council will join together and determine who's going to fill the seat. The tough part is, because of the resignations the 31st, which council and which school committee should be making the determination. I guess we'll leave it up if people want to make recommendations to make changes. We used the mayor used this date on school committee. She did the same, pretty much same order on school committee. They have a meeting on that day, so this person, if we elect them, they're gonna be going in, as opposed to if we do it earlier, maybe this new person can be sworn in with us and go through the whole process. That, I guess it's up to the will of council what we want to do, but I'll sit down and let other people speak.
Thank you. Do you want to?
Yeah, I'll take it. Council Lovely.
Mr. President. You know, taking a look at this today, you know, I was thinking that since Councilor-elect Carr's resignation from the school committee is official on December 31st, and the next person coming in would be sworn after that, I was thinking, wouldn't it be actually nice and efficient to have that person who gets selected be sworn in on January 2nd with the school committee? I actually think an inauguration day is an extremely special day, and I think the person that's going to fill this seat should also enjoy that day with his or her colleagues, future colleagues on the school committee, even though they weren't elected by the body or by the citizens of Salem. They're still being selected by the rules of the city council and the school committee. So I'd like to offer an amendment that we actually have a special meeting on Monday, December 19th, to a joint meeting with the school committee in this chamber on Monday, December 19th at 6 o'clock, because I know the school committee has a meeting at 7 o'clock, to select the next person who will fill that vacancy on January 2nd, when we all get sworn. So it won't affect school committee member Carr's, he will actually vote as a member of the school committee instead of, should we wait until January 3rd, he'd be voting as a member of the city council. It doesn't really affect that either way. And then that the existing city council and existing school committee can then select the next person. And I think then that person who gets selected then can enjoy the inauguration and the swearing in with the rest of the body instead of the following night by themselves. I'd like to make that amendment. Thank you.
Okay. Council McCarthy? Actually, time out. Is there a second on the amendment, or do we?
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilor Fury. Councilor Sosnowski?
Did Councilor McCarthy have your hand up?
No, I didn't.
I was so used to calling his name, it just came out of my mouth.
I was like, wait a second, I didn't have my hand up.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I don't have a problem with what we're doing here, even with that date. That date is fine. It's just that if you look at this whole thing, I think that you and I talked about this earlier this evening, that possibly just to save all this confusion, I don't have a problem appointing somebody, but I don't think it's necessarily right. I mean, we did this a few years back when we put Mark Blair into office. Right? I'd like to see the population of the city put that person into place. However, given the circumstances, it can't happen that way without a special election. So backtracking it even further, I would really like to see an ordinance put in, maybe in the year 2012, where essentially it says if you're a sitting person in a sitting office, whatever that office might be titled, and you want to run for a different position, once your name goes on that ballot, you need to resign then and there that position you have. That way there, the population, the entire population of the entire city gets to vote you in or out, and you go from there. And then it's not up to just the sitting council and the sitting school board and the mayor to do this. It would be up to, it should not be a decision that only, 20 of us make. It should be a decision that thousands make. And toward that end, I think that I'll probably be introducing that order in the next few meetings. Thank you.
Thank you. Council Lovely?
I would agree with you. It's a charter issue, though.
Right now it is.
It would have to be a charter change to be able to change that. But do I agree with your concept? Absolutely. But the charter there would have to be a new charter commission, voted in to make the change. But I agree with you.
Thank you.
Councilor Sargent and Councilor Fury.
Thank you, Mr. President. I understand that too, and if you feel that way, you can let your vote reflect the results of the election also. That's up to each council and each school committee person individually. But I would like to do, as long as it's legally possible, everything we can do
to allow whoever gets selected to be inaugurated like everybody else, where it's so close to election time. I think it just would be tough to have them take office a day or two after inauguration, where it's so close and so possible. I think we should do everything possible to make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Council Fieri?
As a point of personal privilege in the situation, I have some history in the field. In 1980, school committee man Dan Gary stepped aside from his position as a member of the school committee, and I came in fourth in the previous election. And we had a joint meeting of the city council and the school committee to select the nominee to fill that vacancy, and won 35 ballots. And I unfortunately did not get that. They went for a compromise candidate, Mr. David Crawford. And I think we have to do our homework, make sure we do our homework sincerely. A member of the school committee, a new superintendent, a new administration in some of the schools, that we want to make sure we do our homework. So I hope each and every one of you due diligence, will do their homework. I know a number of people have been thinking about running for this office. It's a serious office. I served 12 years on the school committee. I miss it sometimes, being an educator myself. Whoever is thinking about it, whether the 3 that ran for school committee on the ballot, or other people like maybe ran for council large, or other people, I think we may have possibly maybe 5 more. There was 10 last time around. So I think in that time frame, we have to do our homework and choose the best candidate to be a match for the new superintendent, new administration, one new member of the school committee, and so on. So we have to do our homework too, make sure the right person is involved.
Thank you, Council Fieri. Council McCarthy, then Council Pelletier.
Thank you, Mr. President. If I may throw you to the city clerk, would that timeline be proper? I guess, because the way I've always envisioned it would be, because I understand, it's my understanding that Mr. Carr's resignation is as of the 31st. So would it be proper to act on this prior to his actual resignation, or should it be, should we take it up immediately? I mean, I understand the concept of having this person lined up in place, ready to be here on inauguration day. But at the same time, as where Mr. Carr is still a sitting member of the city, of the school committee, and he's already submitted his resignation as of the 31st, would we have to wait until after the 31st to deal with this formally, or can we, because technically I understand that we would just be making a recommendation, then the vote would have to come at some later, after, I'm assuming the vote for that, to fill that position would come at, in this case, on inauguration day, and then that person would be inaugurated with us. If I could see that, because I mean, we can't, how can we vote for someone to fill a seat if someone's already sitting in it? I mean,
Because he'd be a voting member.
Okay.
The way she said it, Kevin Carr would then be a voting member. The whole issue was which body is going to vote on it, the new body or the current body. And he wouldn't be an active member of the school committee until he's sworn in.
So the combined bodies could elect someone, and that would be.
I suppose you could.
Okay.
I haven't read anything in the history of things that have happened over the past. Generally, they're held into the new year, like in January, but there's no hard, fast rule on how this has to be done.
Okay, thank you.
Council Pelletier.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. As we know, the state of the school system's in a low flux right now. So my suggestion would be that anybody, even the 3 that ran, was it 3 that ran? 3 that ran?
Yes.
And whoever else wants to come in, give us some information on what you're going to do going forward with this school system that's in a little disarray right now. So I don't think it's so much picking who come in 3rd, 4th, or 5th, as much as who brings some quality education to the table. This is what we're talking about. It could be anybody, but the school system's in terrible times right now for certain schools. So I think this council should really look at who's the best fit on that committee right now with the schools the way they are. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Further discussion? Council Ronan.
Yes, Mr. President. I suppose I just want some guidance on this issue. I completely agree with those that say that you've got to look at this anew as to who would bring the most to bear on the school committee. And I don't think that you necessarily vote for somebody who ran for that position that finished, one out. I think that you've got to consider everybody that would make themselves available for that position. That being said, then you have to decide which body is going to make that decision. There would be 6 of us that would be involved, myself included. And, just to let you all know, I don't look forward to making that decision on December 19th if you choose, that this sitting body is going to make the decision. In Ward 5, the constituents have elected, a successor to me. I suppose, if I were in his shoes, it would be my position that I'm the elected, incumbent counselor for Ward 5. I should be making that decision. And I would actually, myself, I feel a little bit uncomfortable making a decision, that now this was scheduled for January 3rd, which would be obviously the new city council to vote, moving this forward to December 19th to allow the sitting city council to vote. Me being now a member, I would be voting for somebody that would, be going forward, and I would no longer be here. I mean, this would be my vote on the way out the door. I just feel, in all honesty, I feel a little bit uncomfortable with that, and I don't want to step on the shoes of my successor. I really do. I think it ought to be his vote on this issue on January 3rd and not mine.
Any further discussion on this one? I mean, so I just wanted to say, I went through that whole process you did. I felt the same way. And then I talked to Councilor Lovely, and I thought about it. He's resigning December 31st, so if we actually had a meeting the next day, January 1st, on New Year's, it would be this council. And having 2 kids in the school, I think it's imperative that we get someone in there to stop. They should already be going to these meetings already if they want to be involved in this. But, I mean, just to get this out of the way, I really think that I'd rather have the voters choose. The last charter commission, about 10 years ago, that their recommendation was to have the next person automatically. So like in Councilor Ferry's case, he would automatically have gotten that. And the city clerk had gotten me from when Councilor O'Keefe was same situation in the 70s, and everyone did it different. It's all over the place. So I just think it's good for the person coming in to be able to go through the inauguration. Yes, suspension of the rules to allow the city clerk to speak.
Looking back at looking at the history and everything, right now you're the ones with the experience. You've been on the council, you've seen the school committee, you've dealt with things, you know the issues. The people that are coming anew, they're on a clean slate. They're not sure what they're going to do. It might be harder for them to choose someone coming in new just like them versus the voice of experience.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Okay, we had, on my motion, and then we had Councilor Lovely make an amendment to change the convention date for the city council and school committee to amend it to instead of January 3rd, 2012, to Monday, December 19th at 6 p.m. in the council chambers, seconded by Councilor Fury. Any further discussion on that? Well, I think we voted all at once, right? We don't have
Same
to.
time, 6:30, same time.
6 p.m., because they have a meeting at 7. So it would be Monday, December 19th at 6 p.m. in the council chambers. And the nominations would, they'd have to be filed by, we'd open it up, they're open up now, and they'd have to get it to the city clerk by Thursday, December 15th, if they want to be considered for this, and they'd be a registered voter in the city of Salem. Okay. All right, all those in favor, do we vote on the amendment and then the whole order, or just vote on the whole thing? Does that
Vote on the
matter?
amendment first.
Okay, on Councilor Lovely's amendment to change the date of the joint meeting to Monday, December 19th at 6 p.m. All those in favor? Opposed?
Opposed.
One opposed. Matter carried. On the whole order as amended with the December, with Kevin Carr resigning and opening nominations until Thursday, December 15th, 2011, and then have a meeting with a joint meeting with the school committee on Monday, December 19th at 6 p.m. All those in favor? Opposed? Matter carries. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Council McCarthy.
I didn't get a monthly financial update.
You're not on finance. Order that the monthly financial report dated October 31st, 2011 be referred to the Committee on Administration and Finance.
Okay. Under discussion?
No discussion, Mr. President.
All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Council Ronan.
Yes, City of Salem and the City Council, December 8th, 2011, move that the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs meet to discuss a proposed ordinance that would prevent Level 3 sex offenders in Salem from living within 1,000 feet of a school or public park.
Okay. Under discussion.
Under discussion. Yeah, I picked this up in the paper the other day, and I noticed that this is sort of the latest thing that cities and towns in Massachusetts are doing. I believe it was Lowell passed a similar ordinance to prevent Level 3 sex offenders from living 1,000 feet from a school or a public park. Lynn, now, Councilor Phelan, has proposed or is about to propose a similar ordinance. I think it's worthy of review on the Committee on Ordinances, License, and Legal Affairs. That's as far as my research of the subject went. It seems to be something that would be worthy of the Committee on Ordinances, License, and Legal Affairs taking up and taking a look at. Certainly if our neighbor, to the south is going to pass a similar ordinance. So I would move that this go to Committee on Ordinances, License, and Legal Affairs.
Okay, any further discussion? Council Creevy?
Just for informational purposes, Mr. President, Beverly has a similar ordinance on the books.
All right, I think on this one, we'll have to suspend, was it Rule 31B to
Yes.
have carried over into the year, to the new year. So on Councilor Ronan's order to move his matter into the Ordinance License Legal Affairs, and then also suspend Rule 31B to allow it to go over.
Please.
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Any further motions, orders, and resolutions? None being. Committee reports. Council Lovely.
Mr. President. In City of Salem City Council, December 8, 2011, the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, to whom is referred the matter of granting certain licenses, public guides, seaworms, secondhand clothing, secondhand valuables, has considered such matter, would recommend approval.
Okay. On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? Opposed? On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion?
Discussion, Mr. President.
Discussion? Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Voted. Further committee reports, Councilor Lovely.
Thank you, Mr. President. This next committee report actually isn't supposed to be a committee report. I'm going to read it, but it actually never made it out of committee. But City of Salem City Council, December 8, 2011, the Committee on Ordinances, License, and Legal Affairs, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom is referred the matter of amending Chapter 2, Section 502, regarding a separate vote by City Council for any tax increase up to 2.5%, has considered said matter and would recommend. It actually never received a second, so we never made a recommendation. It's actually not properly on the agenda tonight. It's just a little bit of confusion, so
Okay.
we can't discuss it.
All right, so just acceptance of the report. All those in favor? Opposed? Adoption of the recommendation. Any further discussion?
No, there's no
Discussion, that's
recommendation
right, no
because there's no
recommendation.
second.
Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? Further committee reports? Council Lovely, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. President. Committee on Ordinance, City of Salem City Council, December 8, 2011. The Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom is referred the matter of home rule petition criteria for liquor licenses, has considered said matter, would recommend that the matter remain in committee and the solicitor continue to work on the home rule petition criteria with the subcommittee based on comments from the meeting.
Okay, on acceptance of the report, all those in favor? Opposed? On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion?
Thank you, Mr. President. We took the matter up last week because the subcommittee is still working on the criteria. We actually had a pretty good meeting, but there's still some questions out there that the criteria still need some work. So we charged the solicitor to go back with the subcommittee, with the comments and to continue to work on it. We just need to really refine it more than where it's at right now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Further committee reports? Council Lovely.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem City Council, December 8, 2011. The Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, to whom is referred the matter of a taxi hearing for Kenneth Mason, has considered said matter, would recommend that the taxi operator speak with Officer Page to determine a new date if necessary.
On acceptance report, all those in favor? Opposed? On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion?
Thank you, Mr. President. We actually scheduled Mr. Mason in twice, but Officer Page was not with us for both those meetings. I believe he had illnesses on both those evenings. So we told Mr. Mason to come back at the beginning of the year. We'll certainly try to reschedule him in. Thank you.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? So move. Further committee reports, Council Lovely.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem City Council, December 8, 2011. The Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, to whom was referred the matter of amending an ordinance relative to taxis, has considered said matter and would recommend that the matter remain in committee to allow the solicitor to make changes as discussed in committee.
On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? Opposed? On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion?
Thank you, Mr. President. We had a pretty good meeting. We had the taxi operator, taxi companies in. There seems to be a difference of opinion between the companies whether they want to do zones or meters. So we asked those companies that we certainly have a lot of information regarding zones, but those companies that may want to look at meters to please submit information to the committee, make their case, if you will, why they'd like to do meters. And also, you know, a shout out to Barry Neely and to Councilor Pelletier, who worked very hard on this ordinance. We asked the solicitor to just clean up the language a little bit, so it'll come back to committee for further review.
Thank you, Council Lovely. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? For the record, Councilor Pelletier has left the chamber.
Still there.
Council Lovely. Further committee reports?
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem City Council, December 8, 2011. The Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, to whom is referred the matter of prioritizing committee matters to decide action to take, has considered said matter, would recommend that Rule 31 be suspended to allow the matters listed below be brought forward into 2012. Do you want me to read them? There's a few of them.
Waive the
Reading. Thank you.
Give the reading. On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? Opposed? On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion?
No discussion, Mr. President. Put.
I already did that, sorry. Councilor Pelletier has re-entered the chamber. Council Lovely.
Did you want to take the vote, and then I'll just point of personal privilege.
Okay. All those in favor? Opposed? So move. Council Lovely.
Just quickly, Mr. President, I just want to thank the Committee on Ordinance, Licenses, and Legal Affairs this year. I counted, and we had 40 meetings. That's how busy this committee is, 40. Yeah, so Councilor O'Keefe, Councilor Sosnowski, Councilor Pelletier, Councilor Sargent, I want to thank all of you for being there for all of those meetings. We worked really hard in this committee. We cleaned up a lot in this committee. There's still a lot to do in the committee, but I just want to thank all of you for sticking with it and all those meetings. And I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate all the work you guys did. Thank you.
Lots of work.
Further committee reports, Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem City Council, December 8th, 2011. The Committee on Administration and Finance, to whom was referred the matter of the appropriation in the amount of $1,624,674 from general fund free cash to special revenue funds, stabilization, capital improvement, OPED trust fund, has considered said matter and recommend approval.
Okay. On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Adoption of the recommendation, on discussion?
Thank you, Mr. President. Earlier this evening, the Finance Committee met with Mr. Biscay, and he ran through the appropriations. Basically, the DOR certified free cash, which was in the neighborhood of about $3 million plus, which reflects, so we've taken 50% of the certified free cash, 20% into stabilizations, 20% into capital improvements, and then the fund that we created last year, which resulted in a few questions during the committee meeting, was the OPED trust. Last year we formed that trust, and we put $50,000 in it just to get it started. It's the belief that Mr. Viscay that down the road, this will be mandated by the state, so it was his recommendation that we take 10%, which would result in 50% of the free cash going into stabilization and OPED and capital improvements, and the rest of the 50% would go back into the general fund, of which we didn't get to talk about it tonight, but in one of the orders that's referred to the next meeting, we were going to take $1 million out of the free cash and use that to offset the property taxes. So it was a recommendation out of committee that we approve this. This is consistent with the fiscal policies that Rich and the administration and this body has come up with over the last 6 years in order to get us back on, and we're all familiar with the fact when the mayor came into office, there was almost nothing in stabilization, and I don't know what the balance is, but it's up. We've been diligent on putting money in there for a rainy day fund. So it's consistent with the fiscal policies that we've created, and the committee recommends approval.
Thank you, Council McCarthy. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? So voted. Further committee reports? Council McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem City Council, December 8, 2011. The Committee on Administration and Finance, to whom was referred the matter of an appropriation in the amount of $421,877 from Public Services Renovation Repairs for streets and sidewalks to be funded when 2012 tax rate is set, has considered said matter and recommend approval.
On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? Opposed? Adoption of the recommendation. On discussion?
Thank you, Mr. President. Basically, the state passed a rule that if they raise enough revenue due to their fees, that anything that was unfunded on the cherry sheet that back for cities and towns, they would be required to fund that. So basically, the $421,877 was money that was deducted from our cherry sheet from the state, because at that time, when they were setting the budget, they didn't think that the money was going to be available. Well, through their budgeting process, and when they certified their free cash at their level, however they do that, they determined that they did have the money, and because of a rule that was passed, they're required, other than to put that into their own stabilization, that they throw it back to the cities and towns into their cherry sheet. So the money came back to us, and it's the recommendation from the mayor, which was approved by committee, that the 421 go into street sidewalks repair account. Basically, it's going to supplement the budget, because it was income that wasn't accounted for during the budget process, but now if we didn't appropriate it towards a line item, it would just get free cash, and then we get certified next fiscal year. So the determination was to put it into a one-time, because it's a one-time revenue, it's not going to be a reoccurring amount of money. So the recommendation was to put it into this line item, and the recommendation for the Finance Committee is to approve.
Okay, thank you. Further discussion? Councilor Ronan.
Yeah, Mr. President, I was the lone member of the Committee on Administration and Finance that opposed this money being spent in this way. And the reason for that is because essentially what this is this was a reduction in state aid that Salem recognized. So on our cherry sheet, this amount of money was originally taken out, and it wasn't included in our budget. The state has, since they raised a large amount of money in state fees, they're able to better fund the cities and towns. So essentially, they're making up for the shortfall that we received in state aid, $421,000. So it's come in. What I think we really should do is, we've set the size of our budget now. It's about $131 million, anticipating taxing the residents of Salem a certain amount for their property taxes. I think this amount of money shouldn't be spent. It should go to reduce the tax burden on the residents of Salem. If we spend it, as is the recommendation of the administration, then our budget effectively becomes bigger by $421,000. So we've already appropriated $131 million, taking into consideration our needs to repave the streets, et cetera. We've taken into consideration the amount of money that we're getting for Chapter 90 funds to help us with these repaving projects. So we funded these projects. But if we take this $421,000 and we spend it, then essentially what we've done is we've just added that amount of money onto the budget. So what I suggest, well, I can't really suggest, but I wouldn't vote for this, because I think that this is something that we should give the taxpayers as some modicum of tax relief. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Ronan. Any further discussion? Okay. All those in favor of Councilor McCarthy?
No.
All those in favor? All those opposed?
Opposed.
Okay, one opposed. So voted. Further committee reports? Councilor McCarthy?
Thank you, Mr. President. City Council, December 8, 2011, the Committee on Administration and Finance, to whom was referred the matters in committee, has considered this said matter and would recommend that 31B is suspended in the matters listed below, brought forward into 2012. Number 458, number 347, number 535, number 623, number 666, and number 691.
Okay, on acceptance report, all those in favor? Opposed? On adoption recommendation, under discussion?
Thank you, Mr. President. These were the matters, through discussions in the committee meeting, these are the matters that we felt needed to be brought forward to the next calendar year. Most of them are just monthly financial reports. Thank you.
Okay, on any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Further committee reports. I think you skipped one, Councilor McCarthy, the bottom of page 15.
No, I'm doing that one right now.
Okay. Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem City Council, December 8, 2011, the Committee on Administration and Finance, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of providing tax relief for residential taxpayers who convert multifamily structures back to its original built status, has considered said matter and would recommend that the matter be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, License, and Legal Affairs for their review.
Okay, on acceptance report, all those in favor? Opposed? On adoption of the recommendation, on discussion?
Thank you, Mr. President. And also be ordered that Rule 31B be put into effect, I mean, assuming that the approval of this transfer over to License and Legal Affairs, because it's going to have to carry over until the next year, but under discussion. We had a committee meeting about a week ago relative to this. In a minute, I'll yield the floor to Councilor Ronan, who's brought this in, but after we had Beth Renard in, we had Deb Jackson in, and we had a discussion relative to Councilor Ronan's order. It was the belief that out of the discussions of that meeting that we couldn't offer tax relief incentives similar to what we do on the commercial side, as in TIFs, but the general discussion would be that if we could offer something to Councilor Ronan referred to approximately 70 properties in the city that fall into a disrepair category, that maybe we could offer them some sort of incentive program through low interest rate loans or something to that effect that would allow anybody who would take a multifamily home that is in such disrepair that, you know, it's in disrepair because maybe at some course of time during its life on this planet as a building, it was cut up and divided into multi-units, and therefore if someone wanted to take that building and restore it back to its original as-built status as a single-family home, that somehow we could create some sort of incentive program for someone to take a piece of property like that and convert it back to a single-family home with some sort, hopefully during committee, there'd be some sort of stipulations on it that once someone takes advantage of this type of program, if we can develop one, that it has to stay as a single family home. So at this point, I will yield the floor to Councilor Ronan, who brought in the order.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Ronan.
Mr. President, this matter was originally brought into committee to decide whether or not on the residential side we could do something like we do on the commercial side. That is to get development by choice rather than by chance. Right now in Salem, there are approximately 78 properties under foreclosure. And a lot of developers are going in now and deciding how they can get into these properties, rehab them, and get out quickly and make a profit. It would be nice if the city were to recognize some benefit to the rehabilitation of these properties. In administration and finance, we looked at the numbers, and that is the numbers that make sense, whether or not you do better to have a single-family structure or a two-family structure than you would with a multi family unit, 3 or more structures. And you do. The more units you reduce on the residential side, the better you do. On the residential side, you don't get $1 for every tax dollar you spend, because on the residential side, you have to pay for schools, trash removal, things like that. So the city gets a benefit, a financial benefit when properties are reduced in the number of units that they provide. Also, in particular to my ward, there are congestion problems that are caused when buildings are divided into too many units. There aren't enough parking spaces on the streets between Lafayette Street and Canal Street in my ward for all of these unit residents to park. There's no place to go when the snow's removed. The backyards are getting paved, which is adding to flooding problems. So there are a bunch of problems that, benefit the city financially and otherwise when these buildings that have been divided into, an unusually not large number of units are converted back to their original use. And that was confirmed in the Committee on Administration and Finance. Now, the issue is, well, how could you do that and legally offer some type of incentive? How many people would take advantage of the incentive? I'm not sure. Maybe not too many, but maybe some. It was determined that it would be of financial benefit to Salem if we could offer an incentive. Now, the matter, it was decided, should go to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs to determine just how legally you could do that. There is a problem, apparently, with offering a tax incentive, TIF, similar to a TIF on the commercial side. The city solicitor had a legal opinion, and her suggestion was rather than trying to offer a tax exemption, which may not be constitutional, you may be able to achieve the same goal by offering a financial incentive other than tax relief, but of a similar financial benefit to a developer, such as a low interest construction loan, such as a grant, etc. So that once a developer or a property owner takes advantage of this benefit from the city, then the property is designated as one that has taken advantage of this program, and it's one that goes back to its original status, for all time's sake, so that it's not subject to a use variance if a former owner further up the line wants to then, reconvert it, which was once a single family into a 4-family house. Because we've got the record of it. This is a property that's taken advantage of something that the city has offered, and now for all time this has gone back to its original condition. And in doing that, it's my hope that we can preserve some neighborhoods, get people to invest and to stay here, generationally. I think that when you get these properties that are all divided up, what you get is shorter-term tenants. You get students in my ward that come in. You get first-time, renters that come in. They're passing through Salem, but not people that really want to make Salem their home. So anyway, those are the benefits that I think you could get out of a program like this. It's just a matter of now seeing how best to effectuate that. So it was determined that we should send the matter to Councilor Lovely's Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs to determine how best to achieve the goal. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Ronan. Any further discussion? Okay, on the committee report, we have to, with the Rule 31B, to carry it over to Ordinances, Licenses, Legal Affairs. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further committee reports, Councilor McCarthy? Sorry. You have another one?
Personal privilege. I'm going to take a lead from my learned colleague from down the aisle, and I want to thank my committee as well. Even though we have one more meeting prior to the meeting next Thursday, I want to thank the Committee on Administration and Finance for their diligence. If you look at the tracking sheet, there's one matter left in committee other than financial reports, so I want to thank them for all their hard work over the past year through the budget process and through the daily and weekly meetings and events that occurred during the, and I want to thank them for all their service. Thank you.
Thank you. Further committee reports. Councilor Sargent.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem and City Council, December 8, 2011. The Committee on Community and Economic Development, to whom was referred the enclosed matters in committee, has considered said matter and would recommend that Rule 31B is suspended and the matters listed below be brought forward into the year 2012. And those are council orders 202, 349, 629, 671, and 672. And
Okay, wait. On acceptance of the report, all those in favor, opposed? On adoption recommendation, under discussion?
thank you, Mr. President. These are just a few things. We cleared out a lot of things out of committee that have been there for a while, and some had been acted upon and some had kind of gone their way. And I also would like to thank my committee, Councilor Lovely, Councilor Pinto, Councilor McCarthy, and Councilor Sosnowski. And I look forward to next year's committee assignments. Thank you.
Another one?
Yeah, I got another one.
Yep. Further committee reports, Councilor, actually, we got to vote on that one. All those in favor, opposed? So moved.
Thank you, Mr. President. This one was also just carried forward. City of Salem and City Council, December 8, 2011, the Committee on Community and Economic Development, to whom was referred the issue of buffer zones. Council Order 202 has considered said matter and would recommend that this matter be carried over into the year 2012 and that we form a subcommittee to further study this issue.
Okay, on acceptance report, all those in favor, opposed? On adoption recommendation, under discussion?
No discussion, Mr. President.
Okay, so we're gonna recommend Rule 31B for this to carry over into the next.
That was on the previous reading.
Okay.
It was already carried over.
It was already carried over?
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay, all those in favor, opposed? So moved. Further committee reports, I have committee of the whole, Council Lovely.
Councilor Ryan?
Thank you, Madam President. City Council, December 8, 2011, the committee of the whole, to whom was referred the matter of prioritizing committee matters to decide action to take, has considered said matter and would recommend that Rule 31B be suspended to allow the matters listed below to be brought forward into 2012. Order number 96, number 187, number 382, number 644, and number 694.
On acceptance of the report, all those in favor, opposed, so voted. On adoption of recommendation, under discussion?
Discussion, these are the matters that we decided to keep over till the next fiscal year. I mean, the City Hall Annex, the mayor speaking, nonprofits making a donation for a fire ladder, registered sex offender in the paper, and then meet with the school committee to discuss the Bentley School downgrade.
Any further discussion? There being none, on adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor, opposed, so voted.
Mr. President,
Council Pelletier?
I don't have a committee report, but I like a little personal privilege, if I may, just on committee reports.
Council Pelletier?
As chair of the Government Services Committee, we did have a lot on our plate, but we did have the citywide flood control. We had a couple meetings, and between those meetings over the past couple of years, we learned quite a bit. And I just want to thank this body and my committee members, Councilor McCarthy, Councilor Fury, Prevey and Ronan. And I want to thank the rest of this body for my last council order that I called at the last meeting in regards to Salem State University denying a permit to tie into our outfall pipe from Rosie's Pond. Got the reaction I wanted, because the mayor called me in today and said, "What is this?" It is right there. That's what it is. And I guess there was a meeting at the college. They were celebrating, I don't know if it's a new library or the new fitness center. And that was the biggest talk. What does this mean? Well, it means you can't put a shovel in the ground, and you can't tie into our pipes, period. All right? Until the university comes to us. So I asked the mayor if I could stay on in some capacity, because I pretty much started this flood control committee with the help of Fred Vada and my neighbors. But in some capacity, I'll be around, not a paid capacity, but I'll be around. And I want to see this through, okay? With the college helping us out for Canal Street. I mean, very important. All right, I told the mayor, she don't want me going to the press or my feelings about it, but right now, what we'll do is we'll call another meeting, but I appreciate all your support, and we had that vote, 11 votes in favor, and that goes a long way for me with my bargaining to the president of the college, okay? They need to step up to the table. Like I said before, we got 2 new dorms, $100 million apiece. I have no idea what the new library's costing. We know the fitness center is $15 million, and I'm sick of hearing no money. But once again, I want to thank you for that vote.
Thank you, Council Pelletier.
And that would be my final Government Services Committee report.
Thank you for your service. Thank you. Communications from city officials, none. Petitions,
The following licenses, junk dealer, public guide, Seaworm Tag Day.
Council Lovely.
Move they be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs.
Council Lovely moves they be referred to the Committee on Ordinance, License, Legal Affairs. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further petitions?
We have 4 taxi operators.
Council Lovely.
Move they be granted.
Council Lovely moves that the 4 taxi operators be granted. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further petitions?
We have 1 taxi operator denial.
Council Lovely.
Move that it be denied.
Council Lovely moves that the taxi operator license be denied. All those in favor? Opposed? Further petitions?
We have a hearing request from Curtis Lomax on the denial of his taxi operator license.
Council Lovely.
Move it be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs to hold an executive session.
On Council Lovely's recommendation, all those in favor? Opposed? Further petitions?
We have a list of drain layer contract operator licenses.
Council Lovely.
Move they be granted.
Council Lovely moves to be granted. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further petitions?
We have 2 claims.
Council Lovely.
Move they be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs.
On Council Lovely's recommendation, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further petitions?
We have 1 constable bond and 2 drain layer bonds.
Council Lovely.
Move they be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs and returned approved.
On Council Lovely's recommendation, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Unfinished business?
We have second passage of an ordinance amending traffic, Chapter 42, Section 49, obedience to isolated stop sign, Pratt Street.
Council Pelletier.
Move for adoption and second and final passage.
Council Pelletier moves for adoption by second and final passage. Any discussion? None. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further unfinished business?
We have second passage of an ordinance amending traffic, Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap zone, limited time, Flint Street.
Council Prevey.
I move for adoption for second and final passage.
Council Prevey moves for adoption, second and final passes. Any discussion? Council Pelletier?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm just,
All those in favor? Opposed?
Mr. President,
Council Pelletier?
moment of personal privilege. This is my last meeting with this body, and I just wanted to say a few words to my colleagues, if you'll indulge me.
It looks long.
How many pages?
You know what this is? This is the new taxi ordinance, okay? Fooled you. I hope you, my colleagues going forward, will pass this, okay? We spent a lot of time on it. Try to get it in this year. No, just a few words to my colleague. Council Lovely, you know, she was early on in my career here. She was very supportive. I think her husband tried to weasel me in after brain surgery to get into this, but it was a good decision. She's a wonderful person. She's always straight up. I really enjoyed working on the Ordinance, License, and Legal Affairs Committee with her. She's spot on all the time. Thank you, Joe. My good friend at home, I hope he's watching, my good friend from Ward 7, what can I say about Joe? That we don't say across the board to each other. I hope he's all right. Does anybody know where he is? Or? Okay. As long as he's okay? All right. All right, good. Well, let me see if I have some good words for Joe. Yeah, I think I do. You know, he was a wealth of knowledge, and he was a great friend, and he taught me a lot, dragging me around at the MMA conferences to meet people. He never forgets a name, so beware of that, right? He doesn't forget names. Council Sergeant, you've been great on zoning. When we did the recodification, I enjoyed working with you on that. That's some big accomplishment we got done, you know. Councilor Sosnowski with the rezoning, okay? I'll still be here to help you. I know I didn't give you the downtown, that's just how the chips fell, but you got probably, well, most of it got built on my time, so I don't see much building going on other than for the shelter, but if you need anything, you can call me, you know? Councilor Fiore, it's been great working with you. I wish you good health and many more good terms. You know, hopefully more good terms. Councilor Ronan, been a pleasure working with you. All right. Who knows? Maybe we'll have a TV show after all. But let's wait. Let's wait. Let's see how excited I get. I'll depress one or the other. All right. Councilor Prevey, I love you, but try and be a little more calming on the businesses that have been around 20, 30, 60 years, okay? I understand your point, you want to do the neighbors, but these businesses, you know, they meet all the criteria, you know, Board of Health. Sometimes you got to cut your losses. Did I forget anybody? Oh, yeah, I forgot you, huh? I don't know what to say, other than you didn't answer my question. I got on this council because of brain surgery. I asked what your excuse was. Never answered me. Bob McCarthy's a good guy. He's a great guy. I appreciate him and his family. The cookouts over there. Sorry I missed your wife's 50th, but hopefully I can still drive by your house and not get yelled at. Huh?
No, we'll still yell.
Okay. I'll do the loop. Council Pinto, how are we doing tonight? No disrespect. You know, we're all going. I'm okay with it, you know. For now, I'm exhausted. I've been exhausted for the past 2 years. But I think we can all come back in 2. You know? There'll be a lot of work to come back, but I'll see after 10 months and see what happens there, you know? But, Mr. President, you had a great presidency. You're a great family man. I appreciate your friendship. And you did a great job this year, controlling this crowd, you know, in the meetings. So, Jerry Ryan Lincoln, take care of yourself and your young kids. It's got to be tough having children that young and going to work and going to meetings. I applaud you. Thank you all.
Thank you, Councilor Pelletier. We actually have a couple guests. We have 3 councilors leaving: Councilor Pelletier, Councilor Ronan, and Councilor.
Oh, my gold watch?
Yeah.
I'll take a
Pinto,
$10
yep.
Timex.
That's when go ahead if you want to go.
I wanted to ask for a point of personal privilege, Mr. President. Again, this would be my thank you to you all. This would really be our last, I guess, general meeting. We may have a few special meetings. It seems like we've just set up 2 tonight. But I really did want to thank you. Mr. President, thank you. I think you've done a wonderful job this year controlling the city council. I don't think that we are as uncivil sometimes as the paper makes us out to be. I think that you've done a wonderful job calming us and moving the meetings along. I think you really have a great knack at it. And I want to thank you all. You know, I feel like the best thing that I've accomplished is what didn't happen in my ward. And that is I'm leaving Ward 5 without a methadone clinic on Canal Street. And I want to thank you all for that. Councilor Lovely, thank you for all your help on that. John Pelletier, thank you, both of you, for co-sponsoring and helping me push through that ordinance change. And people may not realize, but we did that was in March, when I took over in January. I suppose maybe politically I could have done better if it were later on in my 2-year term, but it was right away. It was a baptism by fire, and I thank you particularly for your help. I want to thank Councilor Prevey. He sits right next to me. He reminds me when I forget to stand up. And Councilor Sosnowski, he sets me straight on my conservative agenda. So thank you, Mike. Stevie, you've been a great friend, and many people may not know this, but Stevie's been a friend of mine, as far back as I can remember. I chide him that I'm the best athlete on the council, but he takes issue with that and has been taking my money quite regularly on the golf course. I don't know who'll be the longest, straightest hitter on the council after I leave, but you can all fight it out. Bob, you've got great passion. You work hard. And what people don't realize is the Committee on Administration and Finance, not only do we meet often, we meet long, and we meet over issues that we don't necessarily agree on. We've been here at meetings past 12 o'clock at night trying to hash things out. You work hard. You and I don't always see eye to eye politically, but personally, I've never had a problem with you, and I hope that the same is true with you. Arthur, I'll never forget the time you stood up for me. I was having a difficult time, I think, presenting on an issue having to do with parking and the parking garages and the residents that really can't understand how they bought a condominium thinking they have parking and now they don't have parking. And you did a great job just setting everybody straight. You are a calming voice, and I thank you for that. Councilor Fiore, you're a great dad. You've always got something nice to say about everybody, and that's a great attribute. So it really was a pleasure serving with all of you. I want to point one thing out, because people don't really realize that we are sort of friends underneath this all. Politically, I'm sure, the furthest to the right, and there are brothers that are further to the left than I am. But that's not personal. Joe, I'm glad you came. I always tell your son that one of the greatest things that I've done on this council really is become acquainted with you. And I cherish that relationship, and it's good to see you here finally. But what I really wanted to point out was one night, John Pelletier came in his truck and took me down to plow a parking lot for the elderly that I was really concerned wasn't getting plowed. No one knows that he did that. He and I went down quietly. We plowed the lot at night. But that meant a lot to me.
Yeah.
And I thank you, and I thank you all.
Simple things, yeah.
Appreciate it.
Where you been?
All right, so
That's my speech.
we have a couple gifts from the city council to the party councilors. We have Councilor Pelletier, Councilor Ronan, and Councilor Pinto.
Thank you, Mr. President. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Councilor Pinto.
Must be a box of chocolates.
Great.
Silver gold bar?
Golf balls.
Golf balls. Should we open it now, or is that what you want to do?
And I just wanted to say, I'm sure the councilors wanted to discuss the three councilors that are leaving. I'll start with Councilor Pelletier. I just want to say,
No good.
I've paid attention to the council for probably last 10, 12 years. I actually ran for councilor at large in 2001, and I didn't win, obviously, but learning experience, and I watched him come on the council. And when he first got on the council, he asked a lot of questions and ruffled some feathers, but I thought it was pretty good. I think council needed. I see Councilor Ronan, the same, asked a lot of good questions, and I thought that was good. And I always remember certain sayings that councilors say to me that just stick in my mind. I mean, the first one was Councilor Swiniak, when I was going to run in 2001. I ran in 2001, and I said to him, well, I don't know if I'm qualified to run for councilor. And he said to me, and he's like, can you breathe? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, you're qualified. I just thought that sticks in my mind with you. The same thing you just said to Councilor McCarthy about you have a plate in your head. What's your reason for running? I have a reason that I'm doing this. Why are you doing it with kids and stuff like that? That sticks in my mind. Councilor Ronan, I mean, he has asked a lot of good questions. He came into the council like, if I was in his position, I don't think I was ready to take on the methadone clinic. He did an excellent job. I mean, he jumped right in, and he helped the residents of Ward 5. I think he did an excellent job. And he always asked good questions that made me think. I'm like, not always going.
Correction, that was both in Ward 3.
Part of Ward 3, too. And then
Well, you did a good job, yeah.
Councilor Pinto, I got on the council with Councilor Pinto and McCarthy, and I've known the Pinto name from the football and back, and he's just such a hard worker. And every issue, I remember he'll call me on issues, and he does his homework, and he calls other cities and towns, and he's such one of the hardest working counselors. I mean, he puts his all into everything he does. I think he did it with his sports. He does it with everything in life. I thought that it was a shock that he didn't get onto the council again. I mean, I hope he comes back again, because he did an excellent job on the council, and I looked up to him. I thought you did a great job. I think you did your homework, and you exemplify what it is to be a good counselor. And we're going to miss you on the council, but hopefully we'll see you around. I'm sure we will.
Thank you, Jerry.
And I appreciate your service, all three, Council Ronan, Council Pinto, and Council Pelletier. Councilor, anyone else want to say anything to the other councilors?
Yes, stay right here.
Okay.
I've got a presentation for you, but I want to say something about the three departing colleagues. First of all, John Ronan is a great father. I get to know his son, John Henry.
Mr. President, he hasn't been here for the meeting.
Well, he's
here the whole meeting. You didn't see him?
Steve, as a ghost.
But Steve Pinto came to me up when I was in the hospital 3 times. That's what a good heart he's got. And then when my son was almost near death's door, who played football with Steve, and his brother Billy, he came over to our house and he brought magazines to my son Frank, who's probably watching at home. And I knew his father. I know Steve and Billy Pinto's father when they lived up in Ward 4. And I had the honor and pleasure of meeting his mother during the course of this campaign. J.P. Pelletier, I served in the city council with his father. And I brought a photograph to prove that his father looked just like he did. And I enjoyed that many years ago, almost 40 years ago, serving with you. We'll miss you both, but there's life after politics to come back. I was a Ward 2 councilor, I was on the school committee, and then I come back to Ward, so there's life to come back. So I wish you luck, and I cherish your friendship, and I hope you come back and hope to see you again. And I don't have to, take you home to get your key, which you leave at home anymore, right, JP? In the pickup truck.
Yeah. I got a spare.
You got a spare? Well, you should give it to me. Put in the. Traditionally, we give the president of the council a gavel, a symbol of the gavel that he used up here. This one falls apart all the time, so we had to buy a new one. So this is from your colleagues in the city council. This city council, 2010, 2011, with our appreciation and goodwill, and great to know you, and I know you're going to be around. And I serve with your father too. All right.
And my uncle too.
And your uncle, Uncle John Butler.
I appreciate it.
You want to open that up and show everybody
I will
at
open it
home
up.
so you can see what it
I wonder
says?
what it is.
All right. Thanks. Put this box down. It's
turn it
a
around.
gavel with the plaque. That's my name, Council President, 2011. And hopefully when on this one, when I bang it, I'm afraid it's going to go flying towards Councilor Pinto or Councilor Lovely, so I try to keep pushing it back in. But hopefully, I won't have to use this next year because someone else will be standing up here. I appreciate it. This was more than I expected when I took over the council presidency. There was a lot of things happen, like the redistricting that I didn't know about. And I was like, wow, if I knew if that was there, I don't know if I would have done this. But it was a good learning experience because you have to pay attention to the rules. You have to make a determination, almost like being a judge, whether you interpret some of the rules. Some people don't agree with you, but you have to stand behind your decision. And a couple of times what issues happen. But my thing is, it sticks in my mind. I think if someone wants to speak at the Board of Health meetings, and the guy limited that time, I'm glad we have that thing in the beginning where people can speak. So let everyone speak and say their thing so they don't go home feeling like they're gypped. But I really appreciate it. I learned a lot. I think I learned a lot more this year than I did in the 3 years prior. And I'm so glad that I did this. And I appreciate serving with all you guys. You're all great. Everyone has their different skills and tributes. And I learned so much from you guys, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much. You want, Councilor Pinto?
Jerry Leggett-Ryan.
I didn't plan on speaking tonight because behind this athlete is a emotional man. The last 4 years have probably been the best 4 years of my life. I mean it. Not only being able to take part in all our political discussions, inside and outside the chamber. But just meeting so many people in this city, it's been my home, that I never knew, but I got to know. You know, when you do something, whether it's run for political office or try to make a team in a sport, you give it everything you got. I can honestly say I gave it everything I had, and I wouldn't do it any differently. But I don't want to get into individuals, because I love everybody in this council, everybody in this room, all of you. Agree or disagree, I love you all. You've been like my family. But I will say that this city and the people that live in it make it how great it is. And for me, for 4 years, to be making decisions that affect these people, whether it be good or bad, was an honor and a privilege. And I will miss it, but I'll be around. Not in the near future, but I'll need some time. When time goes by, I'll be around. But I want to say thank you. Thank you to the people at home. And thank all of you for your support, your friendship, and your guidance over the last 4 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Pinto. Councilor Sargent.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to thank you for everybody that's president has their own style, and you had yours, and you did well with it, and I appreciate that. Thank Cheryl and Eileen for the work they do behind the scenes that make us look good. People think that sometimes we have to work hard for a certain thing, and then you look and you ask a question and the information's already in front of you. It's one page beyond where you looked, and it's there, and they put it there for us. And we are a family here, and you know, I think only we know what our own families go through to allow us to do this. And I thank my colleagues, but I thank their families for allowing them to do this and spend that time away from them, because there's only 24 hours in a day. The time we spend here and many other meetings that people don't see on TV is time borrowed from our families. And everybody here has borrowed time from their families to help the city of Salem and help the city we grew up in and we love, and I appreciate that. And for the departing councilors, I've known a long time, my family's known a long time. I mean, I played Midget League football with Councilor Pelletier on Castle Hill Playground.
That explains a lot.
Got beat up by his cousins, and they, you know, so we've been there a long time, and even after health issues, he came forward after those health issues and put his time in for the city, and that couldn't have been easy after what he went through physically. Councilor Ronan, his grandfather was my grandmother's lawyer, and my grandmother loved your grandfather, and you know, it's been a long time, and my grandmother spoke of you, so I knew your family before I knew you, because through my grandmother. And it's amazing, because when even if I didn't vote the same way Councilor Ronan was voting, I always understood his logic, and that meant a lot to me, and that doesn't always happen. And Councilor Pinto, I mean, the first time I met him, he was wearing a Packers uniform on the other side of the line of scrimmage. And his brother was Joe Namath of Midget League football. And the minute you made eye contact with his brother, you knew one thing. You knew you had lost the game, because he just had that confidence in his eyes, and so didn't Stevie. And their father was such a great man, and we lost him too young. You know, and when we were 15, we lost his father when we lost the coach of my team, and that was difficult at our age. And his father was so fundamentally sound. Those boys could hit an outside pitch to opposite field when they were 8 years old, and those were things that you learn in high school. He played hockey in high school, but in basketball, he could beat you on fundamentals, because he'd pick them up. If you did a fundamental move to him, he'd pick it up the next time down the court. And I say that because I saw him using those basic fundamentals that his father taught him to learn the city rules, the council rules, how to go to meetings, how to help neighbors out. And he's always been fundamentally sound, and he's always been a fundamentally sound friend, and I appreciate that, and he'll be my friend till the day I die, and I really appreciate the work. I mean, we've been from Major League Football, basketball, baseball, you know, been against each other, to being on the same teams in high school, and to being on the same council, and that's the kind of thing you don't see in a lot of cities, where people know each other and do these kind of things through their whole lives, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Council Prevey.
Thank you, Mr. President. For the 3 outgoing councilors, I want to give my sincere thanks to the service. Councilor Pelletier, you know, a lot of times when I've had conversations with you, whether it's in private or up on the, you're talking on the council floor, I can't believe half the stuff that comes out of your mouth. Outrageous stuff. No one, you know, stuff that people would think of, but they would never in their life say. You say it.
It's going to be great on TV. Was the truth?
Well, sometimes yes, sometimes no. Yeah. So I appreciate your honesty in that sense, and your straightforwardness. There's certainly something to be said about it, so I appreciate your commitment. The only one thing I will tell you, as I've mentioned before, is stay out of my ward. You're always meddling in my ward. You're always down there talking about the businesses. Just stay out. I can have my spies out watching for you. So, Councilor Ronan, much like what Councilor Ryan had said, you hit the ground running. You bring a lot to the debate. It's hard to argue with a lot of the points that you made, so I think you really helped to, you really added something to the discussion, and I think brought the discussion to a very different level. And obviously you're an experienced attorney, and we could tell that. Obviously the most conservative, and a lot of times I agreed with you, sometimes I didn't, but your mark was certainly felt here, and we'll continue to be friends going forward. And obviously, Steve, you know, if for no other selfish reason, I'm glad that you were elected to the council, just so we could become as good friends that we are today. You are a very hard worker. You're the hardest working councilor that I know, just because I know of the contact that you and I would always have. You and I would get the same call from the same constituent about the same problem, and by the time I got back to them, you had already spoken with them hours earlier and had resolved the problem even before I had an opportunity to respond to it. I know you love Salem so much, and you lived and breathed it, and I really, that's something that I appreciated and was able to witness as someone who is not originally from Salem, but obviously developed my love for Salem when I first moved here. And obviously we're going to continue to be friends, much like what Arthur said, to the day we die. One thing I will say about all 3 of you leaving is I know deep down in my heart that Salem is a much better place because of the contribution that you've made. The list could go on of things that you have, you know, worked on, the initiatives, the things that you brought into the council, the hard work that you pushed things forward. And we're talking about individual work for a specific family or a constituent, but also larger projects that you're involved in. You brought a lot of intelligence, a lot of discussion, and a lot of limelight to issues that needed to be exposed, and really to issues that needed the community to be back behind it. And you did that, and you worked very hard in doing that. And so as you're leaving the council, you should hold your heads up very high in knowing that you really have changed the city of Salem for the better, and you've left your mark. And for that, I am deeply honored to have served with you. Thank you.
Appreciate
it. Council Lovely.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll be brief. I too just want to say that to the 3 outgoing councilors that I will certainly miss all of you. Councilor Ronan, the last 2 years, I've watched your style. I've actually followed it very closely, of how you orate, how you discuss an issue, how you argue your side of it. I really appreciate the way you did that. Very passionate about issues. We may not have agreed on some of them. I think we agreed on quite a few, though. Especially, I was very happy to help you or assist in whatever way I could with the methadone clinic. I thought that was just one of the finest moments for this city and for Ward 5-3. But I appreciate all the contributions and everything you brought to the council. JP, I know you took over from me when I ran at large and you became the Ward 3 councilor, and I've seen you really grow in this position. It's amazing, you know, when you came on and how much you have really grown and learned, you know, not just the city council, but the issues, a lot of citywide issues, you know. I really think you should have been a councilor at large, actually, because you just really tackled, you know, a lot of big citywide stuff that not only affected Ward 3, but the whole city, and, you know, I appreciate what you've done. And I know you said you won't be far, and I hope you really mean that.
Be the proverbial pebble in this.
Okay, good. That's good. And this guy to my right, and for the last 4 years, it's been great having you sitting next to me. A very serious counselor, and I would absolutely say the hardest working counselor. I miss our phone calls. We talked all the time. Joni, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? You know, a heart the size of Salem. And you also brought some levity to, you know, we'd sit here and, you know, talk back and forth, just like you used to say with Lenny. You know, and I really enjoyed that. I'll really miss that. I really will. And I know you're not going far either, so I know you'll still be around. But I appreciate all your contributions to council as well. And to the rest of my fellow colleagues, it's been a pleasure this year. Mr. President, thank you. You did a great job. And to our city clerks, who, you're absolutely right, boy, they make us look good, because if you want to know where all the work's happening, it's down in the clerk's office. They work really hard, so thank you.
Thank you. Councilor McCarthy?
Thank you, Mr. President. I too would like to rise. Don't worry, I'm not going to be too harsh on you. I too like to rise and thank you, Mr. President, for your service this year and for your leadership. I think that you did a great job, and you brought your personal style to the position of being as Mr. President. I hope I have the opportunity to say that a few more times before January 2nd, but I think you did a fabulous job. I think you were the right person for the right time in that position, and I want to thank you for your service. I too want to thank Cheryl and Eileen. I mean, these guys don't get enough praise from us. If anybody knows what goes on up here, it's that stack of paper, the stack of papers that we're all tucked in our desk, that it's all prepared for us and make sure that everything's in order as everyone said, to make us look good. To my three outgoing colleagues, JP, I'm not going to lie to you. I met with the incoming president, and the only thing, as outgoing president, the only thing I said to him, I says, please don't sit me next to JP. I'm not going to lie. I sat next to you for 2 years, and when I assumed the presidency, because I sat over there for 2 years with Councilor Soslanski sitting, I know that you're deaf in your right ear. So for 2 years, he kept leaning into me, clicking his pen, and so I said, you know what, he's sitting on the other side, because at least he can hear out of his left ear. And then, but I would say that, you know what, I jokingly said that to Councilor Ryan, and I've enjoyed the last year sitting next to you. And I will say, I hope that you find someone. You asked me when someone put that steel plate in your head, what was my excuse? My excuse was to finish your sentences, because half the time you would forget a word, and I'd have to throw a word in there so you could finish it. But JP has a lot of passion. It took me a little while to understand JP and how to deal with him, but he's a wonderful individual, and the word family's been used here a lot, and we do spend more time with our collective family right here on the council, and sometimes we do with our own families at home. And I think that speaks to a lot of the commitment that everybody in this room has, especially the three outgoing councilors, and what they've done to make Salem a better place. To my good colleague from across the aisle from Ward 5, the second sentence he said to me, I think, was, you know, I'm a Republican. I think it was the first time I met him, it was, hi, John Ronan, I'm a Republican. And he doesn't stray from that. I respect him for that. He said it earlier about me. We may not agree always politically on stuff, but I've never once had an issue with him personally. I personally try not to take things out of this chamber across that threshold. John is very passionate, and I will say that over the past 2 years, the first year he came on when I was president, we were in a very difficult budget situation where the budget, where Councilor Prevey was chairing finance, and the budget was kind of brought to us last minute, and we had to turn around the budget in 10 days. And I, being president, because we kind of all put ourselves in that position, I attended all the budget meetings. And over the first 2 years I sat on finance, I learned more in the third and fourth year, these past 2 years, than I did the first two because of you, Councilor Ronan. You challenged the budget. You made me think about it and not take things ad verbatim without asking questions. I think I've learned more to ask questions, and because of that, I have a better understanding. And I thank you for that, and I thank you for the service. And unfortunately, we haven't had the chance to play golf yet because, my knee, I didn't get to play this year, but I promise you that at some point next year I will pick up the phone and give you a buzz and we'll get to play. So hopefully, we can get back some of that money that my good friend Council Pinto has taken from me. And finally, I'd like to my friend Council Pinto and my neighbor, I just want to say, it's been alluded to 4 years ago when we were both running, and as you know this, Mr. President, we came in 4 years ago. We've all been through campaigns, and we all know how hard it is to motivate yourself, how hard it is to go door to door. 4 years ago when I first, actually it was the second time I ran. The first time I ran I didn't quite make the cut, but 4 years ago when I saw Council Pinto when he made the determination that he was going to run at large. And Councilor Prevey said that there isn't a harder working councilor, I believe, with respect to campaigning and working on the issues. 4 years ago, middle of the summer, I'd be driving home, and just the nature of my work, I'd be getting home, I'm like, all right, I'm going to have to go out and go knock on some doors today. And I'd be driving home, and he'd already be driving out. He'd already have his coat on, his tie, and I'd call him on his cell. I'm like, oh, I'm going to Ward 4. The next day, he was all over the city, and he was part of my motivating factor 4 years ago, because I'd drive home and I'd be beat. I'm like, you know what, I really don't want to do it today. And I'd be driving out Ford Avenue, there he'd be going the other way. And I'm like, if he's doing it, I got to do it, because I want, because his commitment made me realize that I had to be committed too, because if it's something I wanted to do, to sit in this room and serve the citizens of Salem, it's something that he showed me how to do that. And he's exemplified that this last 4 years. And even as someone alluded to earlier, this last election, I don't think there was anybody harder that knocked on more doors than Councilor Pinto. And unfortunately, that didn't translate into getting reelected. But I just want to say that Stevie's been a neighbor, a friend. I've enjoyed serving with him immensely, as Councilor Lovely alluded to. I mean, the conversations we used to have first thing in the morning, I used to be in the lumberyard first thing in the morning, and people look at me like, who the heck are you talking to? It'd be 7:15 and be like, did you read the paper? Did you see this? And did you see that? Always an individual that had all the issues at heart, had everyone's best intentions at heart, try to resolve issues, and I want to thank him for his service. And I know he alluded to it, he wears his passion on his sleeve, he's an emotional guy. An athlete first. I would never challenge him athletically. I don't know what you're thinking about, because there's no way. He's right here. But I want to say that I'm sure he's not going anywhere, and I know that, over the next coming months I'll be driving back and I'll just pull the truck over, because you don't gain a perspective in this room that you lose. And I'm sure that over the next months to come, that I'll pull the truck over on my way home and I'll say, hey, what do you think about this? And I'm sure he's going to take the time to say, you know what, this is what I think, and I'm going to respect him for that, and I'm going to respect his opinion, because he takes it to heart, and I really appreciate that, and I thank you for the 4 years sitting here with you.
Thanks, Bobby.
And with that, I'm going to sit down, because Artie's going to tell me I'm long-winded now, and I don't need to sit, so. Yeah, Kathy's going to text me and tell me.
Councilor Lyon and Councilor Pelletier and Councilor Ronan and Councilor Pinto, all lifelong residents, and they share similar qualities: passion, principle, and perseverance. And that can't be denied. And for that, I say from the bottom of my heart, thank you, as F. Scott Fitzgerald would say, thank you for the pleasure of your company. Thank you for serving the city of Salem. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Perry. Councilor Sosnowski?
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, it's very hard to beat what already has been said here. I mean, my gosh, we've covered quite a bit. All right. The biggest thing that I would like to remember everybody for is what Councilor O'Leary said when he was sitting in that chair. And it's like Councilor McCarthy alluded to earlier. We talk, we agree, we disagree, but when we cross that threshold, we're still friends. All right, and I'm not going to talk about the good or the fact that 8 years ago, John and I came into this chamber, or 4 years ago, Steve came in, 2 years ago, John came in. We learn from everybody, whether you're a rookie or whether you're a senior sitting veteran that sits here with all the experience and knowledge behind you. We learn from everybody. All right, and what I'm going to remember here is not, gee, I'm sorry that you're gone, because you're not going to be gone. In my heart, you're going to be here. All right, your family. And family, no matter where you go, no matter where you are, you're always family. All right? And so, Steve, yeah, hard work, no question. John, passionate, of course. John, I've learned some challenges, like Bob was saying, about what you do. I don't necessarily agree with how you wanted to get it done, but I did agree with what you wanted to get done. So, I mean, we'll continue the rules, we'll go there. But this is not goodbye, this is just, we'll talk to you later, because you're still family, all right? And I hope you always feel that way. You know, at least I do anyway.
Thank
You're
you.
all friends.
Anyone else like to speak? All right, I just want to just say,
Did Nixon's final words
Yeah.
leave her off?
yeah, I just want to say, like, I forgot
Dick
to
Nixon
mention,
to kick around anymore.
the city clerk's office this year has been so great. I mean, they're like the central nervous system. I feel bad sometimes asking them stuff, but they're so good with the packets and any information we need as far as like the school committee, procedure, a lot of different things that were thrown at us, redistricting, getting everything straightened out. It's like she's basically the troop leader. Think about it that way. I appreciate everything they did, and I love working with everyone on the council. And just one thing to leave everyone with, that once you're a counselor, you're always a counselor. So I mean, it's like when you call your coach, I still see old coach, I call him coach. I see Counselor Pelletier, we see Counselor Ronan, Counselor Pinto, and then even when I see Counselor Vino, I keep calling him Counselor Vino. I mean, you're always a counselor, and I'll always remember you guys for, I'll think of flooding when I think you, Ronan, fiscal questions, and Pinto, I just think of determination and making sure that I work hard for the constituents and for the city of Salem, because he bleeds Salem red. I mean, it just, I have a lot of respect for him, and I'm glad I serve with you guys on the council. I appreciate it. So with that, on the motion, Councilor Pinto?
Motion to adjourn.
Councilor Pinto, motion to adjourn. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Thank you.